Hello everyone. As you all are aware that we have already completed unit number 5, which is based on sensors and transducers, and we are also done with unit number 6, which is based on electronic communication. So the only unit that is left is unit number 4 now. This unit number 4, as you can see, is based on electronic instrumentation. Let me read the contents under this particular unit. It consists of principles and block diagram of digital multimeter, a function generator, then digital storage oscilloscope, that is DSO, then power scope, AC-DC power supply, auto transformer, and analog ammeter and voltmeter. So as you can understand from the contents as well as the name of the unit, that this unit is based on all the different types of instruments that we generally use under labs, that is our basic electronics lab. So if you people must be remembering that we've already used a function generator in the lab, we've used a CRO, we've used a digital multimeter and a few other things. So this unit is based on study of all those instruments which we generally use in electronics lab. So the first topic that we have to study, as you can see, is the block diagram of a digital multimeter. So now we would be starting with digital multimeter. Okay. So digital multimeter, also called as DMM. DMM stands for digital multimeter. Now what's this? If you can see, this is the front panel of a DMM. I guess after seeing the front panel, you must be able to remember that we've already used a DMM in the lab for the measurement of voltages, and maybe we've also used the DMM for the measurement of resistance. Yeah, so let's see the front panel. As you can see that this is the display. The top portion shows the display, and because that this display, it displays the reading, maybe the voltage or the current or the resistance directly in digital format, hence this multimeter is called as a digital multimeter, that is DMM. Then below the display, what you can see is the rotary switch. So if you remember, we also have a rotary switch for which which is used to select either of those functions which are present. So you can either select the function as measurement of AC voltage or DC voltage or current or resistance as per the requirement. Then below the rotary switch, as you can see that we have these test probes. Now why do we have test probes here? If you can see, there are 3 different slots. Above one slot it is mentioned as A. A means for the measurement of current in amperes. Then the second slot is for the measurement of voltage in volts, and the third slot is for the measurement, third slot is connected to ground. So if we have to measure voltage in any particular circuit, then we are supposed to use 2 probes. The positive one will be connected in voltage wala slot, and the negative one will be connected in the common wala slot. Right? So that's about the test probes. So this is the front panel of a digital multimeter. Now, what we are expected to study is the internal circuitry, or not the circuitry actually, the internal block diagram of a digital multimeter. So let me first take you through the block diagram. Yeah, so this is the block diagram of a digital multimeter. But rather than studying the block diagram first, what we do is we study the different blocks under this particular diagram, and then maybe we come back to the block diagram again. So let's go back. Okay. Now I would like to tell you something about this, that is resistance to voltage converter. Now what exactly is a resistance to voltage converter? Suppose I say I have a resistor, okay, and of course, as you people know, that in a resistor we can apply Ohm's law, where Ohm's law is equals to V is equals to IR. So which means that suppose that I have a known current I. A known current I is passed through a resistance, and that value of the resistance is unknown. So it's but obvious that because V is equals to IR, and if I is known to me, then V would be directly proportional to R. Okay, so let me tell you this again. So if you have a resistor, if you pass some amount of current to the resistor, some voltage will be developed across the resistor. Let that current be called as I, the resistance be called as R, and let the voltage developed across the resistor be called as V. So as per Ohm's law, we have V is equals to IR. So V is directly proportional to I, as well as V is directly proportional to R. Now it's but obvious that if I is known to me, then V would be directly proportional to R. So that is what I mean to say in this circuit, that if I pass a known current I through an unknown resistance. So because I is known to me, it's but obvious V will be directly proportional to R, which means that this circuit will help me in converting the unknown resistance R into some equivalent amount of voltage. That is, whatever is the resistance, whatever is the value of the resistance R will be converted into equivalent amount of voltage which is developed across the resistance. So let me just read through whatever I've written here. If I is known, that is current is known, and constant of course every time, and R is unknown and variable every time, then the generated voltage V will be directly proportional to R, since I is constant and known every time. So the basic thing that you have to remember here is that V is equals to IR के equation में I is constant and I is known to me. So V is directly proportional to R, and if V is directly proportional to R, which means even if I do not know the value of the resistance R, it is possible for me to find out the value of that resistance. It is possible for me to convert that value of resistance into equivalent amount of voltage because of this particular resistor, and hence this resistor is itself called as a resistance to voltage converter. Okay, so this resistance to voltage converter wala block we are going to study in DMM ke block diagram mein. So that's the reason I thought of telling you this resistance to voltage converter. Fine. So let's move on now. Yeah. So after that we've studied what is a resistance to voltage converter. Now we need to know what is a current to voltage converter. Okay, so earlier case mein what did we do? That we converted an unknown resistance into some amount of equivalent voltage. So what is this going to do? Current to voltage converter mein it is obviously going to convert an unknown amount of current in unknown value of current into equivalent amount of voltage. But how? Now that can be explained with the help of this diagram. Okay, if you just have a look at this diagram, it will tell you that, if you remember, we've done op-amp ka circuit, and this is the circuit diagram of inverting amplifier using op-amp. Okay, so in inverting amplifier using op-amp, if you can see, we have a feedback resistor RF, we have input ki taraf a resistor which is called as R, then we have an input voltage that is termed as V input, and then of course we have an output voltage which is called as VO. Then in this circuit, if you remember that we had an equation that VO is equals to minus RF upon R multiplied by V input, where V input is the input voltage, VO is the output voltage, RF and R are the values of the resistances. Okay, so RF and R, if they are assumed to be constants, which means VO will be directly proportional to V input. Okay, now what is this negative sign? Negative sign of course signifies inversion, but as of now we are not interested in the negative sign. So as of now I just ignore the negative sign. RF and R, I assume them to be constant, hence VO will be directly proportional to input voltage. So in this diagram, the generated output voltage will be directly proportional to the applied input voltage. Okay, so that is what I've written here. Okay, but I hope you understand one thing, that input voltage there'll be some voltage source which is going to generate some amount of input voltage, but then because of this input voltage there is some amount of current also which is given out, which is applied to the input of this particular circuit. So the current which is applied because of the input voltage, let that current be called as I input. Okay, so it's but obvious that V input is directly proportional to I input. Everyone knows that. So which means, as per the above equation, if VO is directly proportional to V input and if V input is directly proportional to I input, then obviously VO will be directly proportional to I input when RF and R are known. Okay, so the generated output voltage is directly proportional to the applied input voltage itself means that the generated output voltage is directly proportional to the applied input current, that is I input. Okay, so let me just read through whatever I've mentioned here. Hence, if unknown current is given as input to op-amp in above circuit, that is unknown V input is applied, then VO will be directly proportional to V input, that is VO will be directly proportional to I input. Yeah, so if V input is not known to me, which means I input is not known to me, but the output voltage is directly proportional to the input voltage, which means the output voltage is directly proportional to the input current. Hence, an unknown value of input current can be converted into an equivalent amount of output voltage. Thus, it is as good as we are converting the current which is unknown, that is I input which is unknown, into an equivalent amount of output voltage, that is VO. Hence, this circuit will be termed under the category of current to voltage converter. So let me just continue. That is, output voltage generated will be proportional to the applied unknown input current, that is I input. Hence I to V converter. Okay. Now the diagram which you can see here, this is a slight modification of the above diagram. In this particular diagram, as you can see, instead of one feedback resistor, you have three feedback resistors. एक का value is 1 kilo ohm, then the other one has 10 kilo ohm का value, and the third feedback resistor has a value of 100 kilo ohm. Doesn't mean that all three of them are connected in the circuit. No. If you can see that we have a switch here, and with the help of that switch, either you can connect 1 kilo ohm का resistor, or you can select 10, or you can select a 100 kilo ohm का resistor in your circuit. So of course, if you select 1 kilo ohm ka resistor, the current that can pass through it is going to be less as compared, if you select a 1 kilo ohm ka resistor, the current that can pass through this resistor will be more than the amount of current which can pass through 10 kilo ohm ka resistor. And of course, the current which can pass through both of them will be more than the current that can pass through 100 kilo ohm ka resistance. Because as you know, resistance opposes the flow of current. Okay, so depending on what resistance you are selecting in this particular circuit, that you can decide the amount of current that can flow in the feedback path, and then that amount of current which flows in the feedback path will be in turn converted into equivalent amount of output voltage. So the output voltage will be directly proportional to a lesser value of current or more value of current, depending